You know, we all think of our home as our sanctuary, right? It's our place of safety, our comfort zone. But that feeling of peace can get totally shattered by these little uninvited guests. You know the ones, the kind that crawl and fly and scurry in without asking. So how do you actually build that shield around your home? How do you keep it the pest-free sanctuary it's supposed to be? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
So the first question you've got to ask yourself is, what's already inside? Seriously, because whether you see them or not, pests are absolute masters of hiding. Just knowing what you're up against, that's the real first step to reclaiming your space and making your home feel like your home again.
All right, Section 1, the uninvited guests. Look, to protect our homes, we first need to know who we're dealing with. So let's take a quick look at the most common invaders and, more importantly, why they're a much bigger deal than just a simple annoyance.
And this is a really critical point. Pests aren't just a nuisance, they are a genuine health risk. I mean, think about this. A single housefly can carry over 1 million bacteria. That includes stuff that causes food poisoning. And cockroaches, they can trigger serious allergies and even asthma, which is especially scary if you have kids. So yeah, the stakes are way, way higher than just a few creepy crawlies.
Okay, so here's the thing. Pests don't just show up randomly. They're drawn in. In fact, a lot of the time, we're unknowingly sending out these secret invitations that make our homes look like a paradise to them. So let's talk about the 3 big ones. It really all boils down to 3 simple things: food, water, and shelter. I mean, to a pest, those crumbs under your toaster, that's a feast. A leaky pipe under the sink, that's an oasis in the desert. And a cluttered garage, well, that's basically a 5-star hotel with a vacancy sign flashing. If you can manage these 3 things, you're essentially flipping that sign to no vacancy. And get this, pest activity is super predictable. It follows the seasons, just like everything else. So in the spring, you're going to see more ants and termites. Summer, of course, brings out the mosquitoes and flies. Then, as it gets colder in the fall, you'll see spiders and stink bugs trying to sneak inside for warmth. And winter, that's prime time for rodents and roaches looking for shelter. If you understand this cycle, you can stay one step ahead of them. Okay, so we know the who and the why. Now it's time to build our fortress. Because look, the best approach here isn't about reacting when they're already inside. It's about being proactive and building a defense so strong they can't even get in to begin with. And honestly, if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this: prevention is always easier, cheaper, and way more effective than treatment. I'm telling you, every single minute you spend on prevention now will save you hours of headaches and a ton of money down the road. This is the absolute golden rule.
So what are the blueprints for this fortress? Well, it's all about these 5 pillars of prevention. First up, seal every possible entry point. Use caulk, door sweeps, and don't forget a mouse can get through a hole the size of a dime. It's crazy. Second, manage your food. That means airtight containers and cleaning spills right away. Third, control moisture, fix those leaks. Fourth, just clean regularly. Vacuum those corners, declutter storage areas. And finally, number 5, maintain your yard. Trim back bushes and get rid of any standing water. It creates a buffer zone around your house.
All right, Section 3, the smart counterattack. Look, even the best fortress can be breached sometimes, right? So when that happens, the key is to respond strategically, not just panic. A smart counterattack is targeted, and it always starts with the simplest, least invasive options first. And this is basically the proper order of operations. Think of it like a hierarchy. Your foundation, number 1, is always prevention. But if a few pests still get through, you move up to step 2, physical controls like traps or a vacuum. If that's not enough, you can try some natural solutions. And only then, as an absolute last resort, do you even think about chemical treatments. It's like a ladder. You climb it one rung at a time. You don't just jump to the top. Okay, so if you do get to that point where you need chemical treatments, you have to know the difference between your options. On one hand, you've got baits. Think of these like a smart bomb. They're slower, yeah, but they target the entire colony because they get carried back to the nest. On the other hand, you have sprays. These give you that immediate, satisfying contact kill, but they often miss the real source of the problem, and you have to be super careful with where you use them.
Listen, sometimes a problem is just too big to handle on your own, and that's totally okay. So when is it time to call in the pros? Well, here's a good checklist. If you've got a huge recurring infestation, if you're dealing with really dangerous pests like termites or bedbugs, or if you're seeing actual structural damage, it's time. Or, hey, even if your DIY methods just aren't cutting it, calling the professional isn't giving up, it's actually the smartest and safest thing you can do. So this brings us to the final and maybe most important section, the pest-free mindset. At the end of the day, getting this right requires a real shift in how you think about it. It's not about a one-time fix, It's not about frantically reacting when you see a bug. It's about adopting a calm, consistent, ongoing system that just becomes part of how you take care of your home. And there's actually a professional name for this system. It's called Integrated Pest Management, or IPM for short. It's just a sustainable, long-term way of thinking that combines monitoring, preventing, and controlling pests in a smart, ongoing cycle. So here's what that IPM cycle looks like in action. It's a loop. First, you monitor. You're just regularly looking for any signs of pests. If you spot something, you move to step 2, identify it. You have to know exactly what you're dealing with, because the treatment for ants is different than for roaches. Then you double down on prevention, using those 5 pillars we talked about. And only if you absolutely have to, you use a targeted control method. Then what? The cycle starts right back over again with monitoring. It never really stops. All right, to wrap this all up, let's quickly go over the top 3 mistakes people make so you can avoid them. Mistake number 1, ignoring small problems. That one little ant you see, it's a scout for a colony of thousands. Seriously. Number 2, over-relying on sprays. Yeah, it feels good to zap the bugs you can see, but that does nothing to eliminate the source. And finally, number 3, being inconsistent. Pest populations rebound so fast if you let your guard down, even for a little while. So think about it like this. Your home's defense isn't a single battle you win. It's more like a daily routine, a constant vigilance. A fortress isn't defended in one fight, right? So the real question is protecting your sanctuary part of your routine? Because making it one, that's the ultimate key to keeping your home truly pest-free.